Let's dive into this incredible opportunity at 2623 East Michigan Street, Indianapolis, in for 6201. What we've got here is a quadplex, a multi-unit property with 4 separate units, each one offering its own unique potential. This quadplex is for beds and for baths, and it totals 2,300 square feet of space. If you include the basement, the property's overall size jumps to over 4,000 square feet, which really opens up some extra possibilities. Let's talk about the potential this property brings to the table. First off, the ARV, or after repair value, is projected at $444,672 and shows the kind of value this property can reach after the rehab is done. Speaking of rehab, we've got a solid estimate of $75,000 to cover what needs to be done. This includes floors, finishes, kitchens, and bathrooms. Essentially, we're talking about bringing everything up to high standards and making it appealing for future tenants. Now, some great news here is that a lot of the big-ticket items have already been taken care of. The property has new siding, newer windows, and a newer roof, so you're not going to have to worry about major exterior expenses. These things are crucial when you're looking at long-term investments, as they eliminate a lot of upfront risks that might otherwise come into play. Each of the 4 units has its own separate entrance, which adds to tenant privacy and the overall appeal for renters. The size of these units makes them ideal for tenants looking for larger spaces, something that's always in demand, especially in areas like this one. Now, let's talk numbers on the rent. We're projecting to rent each unit for $1,000 per month. That's a solid return given the size and condition of the units, and the fact that tenants are paying for their own utilities really keeps operating expenses under control. But here's where it gets even more interesting. There's a separate entrance for the basement, and that opens up the opportunity to add a 5th unit. With the right rehab, you could turn that basement into an additional income-producing unit, and that's a game changer for your overall cash flow. If you're thinking long-term, that basement represents additional value that's waiting to be unlocked. The property also includes a 3-car garage. That can be a huge bonus for tenants, but it also opens up options for extra rental income. You could offer garage space as an add-on for tenants, or even rent the garage separately to local residents in the area who might be looking for parking or storage. Now, let's run through the financials. The gross operating income, or GOI, is projected at $48,000 per year. That's based on 4 units rented at $1,000 per unit per month. And remember, since the tenants cover their own utilities, you're keeping your expenses in check. Speaking of expenses, we estimate the annual operating costs at around 30% of GOI, which is about $14,400 per year. That covers maintenance, taxes, insurance, and other property management costs. After those expenses, your net operating income, or NOI, comes in at $33,600 per year. Now, let's talk about the cap rate, which is a critical number for investors. The cap rate on this property is 7.56%. That's a strong return in any market. And when you factor in the potential for adding that 5th unit in the basement, the deal becomes even more attractive. CAP rates like this are especially appealing when you're looking at long-term investments with the opportunity for appreciation and increased rent over time. But let's not forget the real extra value. Here, the potential to finish the basement and add that 5th unit. Once completed, this additional unit could bring in even more income, potentially raising the overall GOI and, in turn, increasing your net profits. You're not just buying into the current cash flow, you're investing in future potential and the ability to expand what this property can offer. This property is situated in a growing area of Indianapolis, which means you're not just looking at current cash flow, but also potential appreciation. As the neighborhood continues to develop, demand for quality rental properties is likely to increase, giving you more leverage for higher rents or future resale. So, if you're an investor looking for something that offers immediate income with room to add value, this property is exactly what you're looking for. The numbers are solid, the cap rate is attractive, and the potential for a fifth unit makes this deal even more compelling. If you're ready to take the next step, reach out to us today. Let's discuss how you can make this property work for your portfolio and get you on the path to increased cash flow. So call or text us today at 317-6109-834 or 317-5970 for 57, or go to our website at www.re